Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Puma RISE NITRO. This shoe retails for 125 bucks and there are a couple of colorways that have released since I got this shoe. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but let's get it started off with the tracciones. And we have kind of like a wavy herringbone traction pattern with an X going through the outsole with what they're calling the Pro plate as far as like this entire plate goes. And as far as the traction performance goes, it was okay, you know what I mean? It was definitely really bad when I first got it. Once I started playing it and breaking it, it got a little bit better. I would say it's just alright, you know, it definitely isn't amazing. It definitely isn't like a solid traction pattern either. I mean, if you're just playing around a little bit, you should be fine, but if you're doing hard stops, I did slide a good amount, and it was a little bit inconsistent on hard stops as well. So yeah, I mean, even when I was playing on a clean court or dusty court, I just had that issue. So definitely do be careful on that. But that was on pretty hard stops, like doing hard crossovers, step backs, but I do need my traction. You know, I need it to be very responsive because, you know, I'm like more on the quicker side of things. So that definitely did bother me. But if you don't need a super responsive traction, then obviously that's not a huge deal, right? As far as performance on dust, it was alright too. It didn't pick up a whole lot of dust, but it definitely did pick it up a little bit. It was very easy to wipe off though. You know, just do a very easy slight wipe or two and it was clean and you were good to go. As far as durability goes, durability seems really bad. You know, the grooves are deep, but the rubber is super soft and the grooves are super thin. So outdoor use definitely does not seem like it's gonna be a very good idea. So traction I was a little bit disappointed honestly, because I do like the rest of the shoe, right? So moving on to the heel to toe transition, very smooth and nice. So here in the heel, we have a very nice curve shape, fully exposed nitro foam as you guys can see. So super smooth here in the heel, and then once you transition here into the forefoot, we have a nice curve shape and a good amount of forefoot flex. It's not super flexible, but it does flex a good amount when you put like force into it, and that's due to the Pro plate, you know. So that kind of like propels you forward as well. It feels great. Torsion support is good too. So heel to toe transition when you're doing heel dominant strides down the court, super smooth and feels great. And now moving on to the cushioning setup, we got full length nitro foam and it feels really nice. So here in the forefoot, you have good court feel and it definitely gets a lot thicker here in the heels. So there definitely is a pretty large offset. So here in the heel, look at how exposed it is, right? If you look at the MB1 has a lot of caging, right? Here in the RISE NITRO, there's nothing. And it feels awesome. So there's a good amount of compression here in the heel. It's super soft actually, and for impact protection it's great, especially if you're doing heel strikes. But nitro foam isn't super bouncy, you know what I mean? It's just more on the softer side of things. There's not a crazy rebound back, which honestly, that kind of was a bummer, you know, because I like to have a little bit of bounce, you know, just for me personally. But if you want a soft cushion, then this definitely is a great option. It didn't feel too mushy or anything either, which is a good thing. Overall, very responsive, low to the ground here in the forefoot, but with good impact protection. So overall, it's a good all-around cushioning setup, I would say. I just kind of wish it was a little bit more bouncy, right? All right, moving on to the material. So for 125 bucks, guys, look at the knit. Look at the quality of the knit. It's amazing. You know, we have very nice stretchy knit, and it kind of comes all the way here into the midfoot, which I don't like because it covers the laces and it's really annoying to lace up the shoe. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to tighten the laces here. But you won't really need to do that all too much because it's a super snug fit, but we'll get into fit. But yeah, it feels really comfortable on foot because it kind of like stretches over your foot. That feels great. And then for the tongue, we have a good amount of padding, which feels nice and cozy. And also here in the ankle area, we have a lot of padding, especially here in the back of the ankle, like where your Achilles is. So it feels nice and cozy and super comfortable. And here in the forefoot, it's super minimal as well. So I really like the quality of the knit and it feels really nice on foot. And now moving on to the fit. So the fit is so damn tight, right? I went true to size and I wish I would have gone up half a size. And I really rarely say this because I like to have a really snug fit, you know, and I don't mind it if it's super snug. But here in this shoe, it's really snug. I feel like part of the problem is there's so much padding here in the back of the shoe that this padding is kind of pushing my foot forward a little bit. Because if I kind of like, you know, bang the shoe a little bit and put my foot back, I definitely feel like there is a good amount of space. And it feels good for fit, but you know, obviously when I stand up, it kind of like pushes my foot forward again. And it's super snug lengthwise. So for everybody, I would suggest going up half a size, even if you want a super snug fit. And then if you have a wide foot, probably go up a full size or maybe a full size and a half, because it's really snug here in the toe box, right? So here in the toe box, really snug, which I like. It does, you know, stretch out a little bit once you break it in, but it's still really snug. And then for the width, it is slightly narrow. I definitely can feel this part. This part of the shoe kind of like squeezing the side of my foot a little bit. So yeah, when I was playing, I really didn't like it because it was hurting my toes a lot, and it was giving me needles as well. But like I said, I feel like if I went up half a size, it would have been a lot better. So there's that. Moving on to the support and lockdown, I really didn't have any issues. So for lateral containment, I mean, look at the lateral calendars here, right? So this foam here in the forefoot comes up. It's actually part of the Nitro foam, which I like. They just painted this. And then here in the midfoot, we have the Puma logo. It's made of like this like thicker plastic, which gives the material a little bit more rigidity. And then here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel calendar and the foam coming up. So lateral containment was very good. And then for lateral stability, look at how much the foam protrudes out. Look at that. Super wide and low to the ground base here in the forefoot. So lateral stability was good for me as well. So yeah, support and lockdown, I really had zero issues with the shoe. It was very good. Moving on to the weight of the shoe, if I remember correctly, it was around average. Yeah, so 12.59 ounces. Let's check the other pair. 12.73 ounces. So yeah, average weight on this shoe. So how does it feel on foot? It feels really nice. You know, it doesn't feel super minimal because of the extra padding here in the back of the shoe, but it feels really cozy. But the thing was, I didn't feel super responsive in this shoe because of the lackluster traction. You know what I mean? And that was kind of like the Achilles heel for me for this shoe. The traction not being good. I really liked everything else about this shoe. The cushion was very nice. The material was great as well, especially for the quality. Support was good. It fit me. I mean, fit me really snug, but I could deal with it. It was just the traction, right? And the traction, it wasn't terrible. I wasn't sliding out like crazy. It wasn't dangerous, but I just never got a really amazing bite, right? So there is the weight there. Moving on to the ventilation. So through this knit material, you would think there is a good amount of airflow, but there's actually not, because there's an underlaying material, right? And you would think, you know, through these ventilation holes, but there's not a whole lot. But this knit material here in the forefoot is on the thinner side of things, so it wasn't super hot, but also wasn't super cool. All right, moving on to the ventilation. I like it. You know, overall it looks pretty cool. I like the simplistic design. But I don't like how this part looks all too much. You know what I mean? I don't really like the laceless design all too much. Or I guess like it's not laceless, but it looks laceless. You know what I mean? So I'm not a huge fan of that. But everything else about this shoe looks great. I mean, on the lateral side, you can't really tell, right? So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, I mean, I'm a little disappointed. I'm very sad because I really wanted to like this shoe. You know what I mean? And like I said at the beginning of this video, everything else about this shoe is super nice besides the traction. You know what I mean? And if the traction was top tier, if the traction performed like the PG6 or any of these shoes here, this would have been a top tier performer, right? But since it's not, it's a little bit lower. You know what I mean? And will it be in my rotation? Not really. You know what I mean? Like I need my traction to be very good. So super sad. I mean, I feel like Puma would have hit this out the park for me, in my personal opinion, if the traction was top tier. So would I recommend it to you guys? I mean, like I said, you know, for 125 bucks, you get good quality materials, you get full-length Nitro foam, which is very nice. If you don't need crazy good traction, then this is a good option. But of course, if you need good traction, then you should probably stay away from the shoe. So anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the Puma Rise Nitro. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave the affiliate link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.